various parts of the city where residents are feeling that they're not safe anymore. I don't know whether it goes to the downtown core. I hear people talking about the area around Cabot Square. And just this week, I was reading a story about the Milton Parc area. You should seek out this piece, by the way. Jesse Fife from the Montreal Gazette has a piece in the Gazette that says, "Crime, violence drive Milton Parc residents to demand shelter be moved." And it's a really interesting story. I was so struck by it because they start off with a 29-year-old resident. She's an artist, a 29-year-old artist who's just had enough and is saying that the residents in the area, they're victims too of some of the things, the criminality that we're seeing in the Milton Parc area. Now, Jim Beis is the borough mayor of Pierrefonds-Roxboro. He's also on the executive committee, and he's responsible for security and prevention. We go to him in this week's City Hall segment. Mr. Beis, Mayor Beis, welcome back to the program.
Elias, thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
So, whether it's Milton Parc or Cabot Square or, to the downtown core where I used to live, VJ Saint-Hubert, a lot of hot spots now. What are we going to do about it, Jim?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying that the community around that shelter, we understand wholeheartedly what they're going through, number one, because there are other areas throughout the island of Montreal, as we know, and throughout the country for that matter, where you have pockets of these types of facilities that create a lot of anxiousness and concern with the residents that have been there probably for many years before that, with none of that occurring around them. We also know that the city of Montreal has been extremely proactive in the months that we've been there as the administration. The mayor has announced many initiatives. We talk about appease. The mayor went out on Monday with the appease workers to see firsthand the type of work that they do on the ground. We know that social cohabitation is a critical issue, especially in Milton Parc. I mean, they are deployed in the Plateau borough, and they've been there actually since 2023, where the street workers work round the clock, 24 hours a day, providing that social alternative to police interventions. Again, that is one of the steps that's being taken as well to de-escalate situations. The city has also announced that we will be tripling the budget for nonprofit organizations that provide that collateral support to folks that are vulnerable and dealing with these situations, but also providing the necessary support to the communities that surround these facilities. And that goes, of course, with the different type of neighborhood watch programs and committees that exist already throughout many communities. The business and property groups, for example, that need to have that information firsthand, and the type of approach that we try to do with the communities in hand. And I'll give you an example, Elias. We have in Pierrefonds-Roxboro a shelter that was placed there a couple of years ago, let's say. And even though the conditions for a facility like that are more, I guess, conducive for the type of support that you give to vulnerable communities, there's still concern within the neighboring community. And so what is being done? The police have stepped up their patrols. The organizations on the ground have stepped up their patrols. The city has announced, for example, another additional 500 spaces to be able to spread the vulnerable communities throughout the island of Montreal, not have them concentrated in large numbers like Milton Parc, for example, where you have a large number of individuals there that are in distress in many cases. And so the city is being very proactive in that way to try to work with all the partners to find some resolve, and understanding that even though we find ourselves in these situations, we also have to consider that there has to be, especially during these cold winter months, there has to be some type of tolerance and understanding by the community at large.
Okay, so I want to get to that here, and tolerance and what we can tolerate and what we cannot tolerate. And I want to talk about criminality, okay?
Right.
So there's varying degrees. Obviously, there are the drug dealers and the pimps that are preying on this area, okay? And I think everyone's going to be like, okay, there need to be arrests and police have to be involved. There are questions about how the criminal justice system treats these people, and if they do get arrested, if they're right back on the street within days, okay? But then some of the other things, like if there's someone and it's a homeless person, I know people want a person experiencing homelessness, whatever you want to call it, and they take a bottle, and they throw the bottle at someone, or they utter threats against someone. That's criminality I couldn't get away with. What should be the strategy here? How should police be dealing with the various levels, not of just being homeless on the street, of criminality that residents are seeing?
Well, that's a legitimate statement and concern, Elias, and I have to tell you that I have already met with the police on many files, and this is one file that is progressing and needs to be looked at, I think, in a way that addresses that criminal aspect, as you've mentioned. Certainly, the police, in their full capacity, have the right to be able to intervene in these types of situations to create some social peace, no question about it. There are the lesser, issues that we have, where we have the different organizations that are deployed within any area to address and to provide the support to the individuals. But anything of criminal nature, of course, the police is there to be able to address that. And so what I've done as well is not only have I met with the police, and I will continue to meet with the police, for example, I'm also going to be meeting with the different mayors and elected officials of all the boroughs in the next month or so to be able to find out what is exactly happening in every community and within your community that will require the support as we're talking about today. And then at that point, can we have a portrait and be able to address it appropriately? I know that these are criminal offenses that need to be addressed by the SPVM. And if you've mentioned that laws are releasing these folks back on the street immediately, well, then that's a conversation at another level that has to take place. But we will be exploring all those options. There's no question about it that no one should feel unsafe within any community. But at the same time, we have to be able to find solutions, particularly in areas where we have high concentrations of homelessness, and try to accompany them to be able to find results.
Quickly on the working relationship here, because this is in the Plateau Montreal, right? And that's still a Projet Montreal borough. What's the relationship like with the members of the opposition to work together on this front?
Well, look, in everybody's defense, we just started working, it's been a month since we've been elected. My goal was, as I mentioned to you, I sent out invitations to all the mayors to contact me. Many have already. There are meetings planned come January to discuss some of their issues. My relationship with everyone has always been, even when I was on the executive many years back, was to communicate with everybody. We work for all Montrealers, and it's not the party and the party politics that's going to define what we do, particularly when we deal with the vulnerable populations and some of these issues that folks that live there and have lived there for many years are faced with. I mean, we need to have a spirit of collaboration. I have it. We have it as an administration, and I think the mayor has demonstrated this from day one, and it will continue. There will be a mayor's table that will start as of Monday, where we have all mayors sitting around the table to discuss some of the common issues that we have. And so just that in itself is a step forward to be able to find resolve. And if crime and security is one of the priorities, well, then we'll put our energy and our focus behind that to be able to find, again, some peace for the people that live in these areas, understanding that homelessness is a complex issue. It's not someone that just can't afford a roof over their head. There are many issues that affect homelessness, and it could be mental health, it could be substance use, as you mentioned, it could be crime related. So all these things put together leads us to believe that we need to have other support and other stakeholders around the table to address this. And I know that the mayor, with the crisis unit that we put in place, I mean, just to give you an example, we have the City of Montreal representatives, the government of Quebec, public health, community organizations, the police, the fire department. Everybody sits around the table here twice a week to discuss what the action will be, immediate action to find concrete solutions. So I think we're moving forward at a pace we've never seen before, but at the same time, we're discovering some issues that need a little more attention.
Mayor Beis, I want to thank you for coming on, joining our City Hall. A first of many, I hope. Talk again real soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's Jim Beis. He's Borough Mayor of Pierrefonds-Roxboro, responsible for security and prevention on the Executive Committee for the City of Montreal.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years.
And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.